Well, what I was going to say, the hardest part is when you first in the spring, when you went out, didn't scour, then you had to always stop and clean the, took quite a while to scour it, to get it, shiny. It had to be nice and shiny before it really, then it worked nice, but otherwise it didn't. It just stuck on the
blade there.
the mold.
Is the soil here clay? So it would, or is it more black dirt?
No, it's mostly black dirt,
Okay.
At least mine here. I haven't got too much clay. But, yeah, I remember we had a little spade or shovel hanging on there. We had to, scrape the doggone thing off till it finally got shiny, and then it really flew. Then it flew out, yeah.
So it was worth it to clean it. It saved you. You could get a little further than if you cleaned it well.
Well, it was easier for the horses too, and it worked nicer. It threw the ground up. Laid the ground nicer.
We think of horses today as being really expensive. How much would a horse have a cost for a good workhorse?
Them days, the horses were scarce. The horses were pretty high priced. You'd have to pay around $500-600 for a horse, I'd say.
Wow. So you really did take good care of them.
Oh yeah, they were always in the barn. They were special in the winter time. The cows had to stay out. The horses were in the barn. Then we had to take them all down and drive, to the tank, and give them water, and then take them back again and feed them, and yeah.
And what's this blue piece of machinery?
That's another potato planter.
Oh, a planter?
Yeah, that's another potato planter. Yeah. Yeah, you sat on here, seeing the potatoes came back down there. They fell down there, and then these sticks covered them up. Yeah.
Looks like it holds a little more seed.
Yeah. Those days are over with.
Much easier now.
Yeah.
These are old washing machines?
These are washing machine, Maytag washing machines from the 30s, 1929. Yeah, they had to. See, they had electric motors already. One of them, the other one has had to have a gas motor. I got some wooden ones down there too.
So how would they have washed the laundry with it? What would have been the process?
Well, just they worked like the ones you got now. So you put the water in here. See, and then the rollers. Yeah, they rolled them out. Kind of got the water off it, and that's how they. Yeah.
Did your mom do laundry often?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. She had to. The first place she had to heat the water on the stove. There was no. First she had to carry it in from the well and then heat it in a boiler on the stove, and then she first had to wash and then carry the water out again. Wow. It was not like today.
So
yeah.
Would she wash once a week?
Usually Mondays. Yeah, Mondays was wash day.
How long would it take her to do all the laundry?
It was usually all morning. It depends how many loads she had to wash. They had to iron everything years ago. There was no such thing as like they got now. They have to iron. Yeah.
Did she buy the laundry soap?
No, they usually made their own lye soap. They made it with a lard from when they butchered, and then they made. I can't remember how they. I still remember she made it in a. It had to be a porcelain kettle, you know, where they put it in, then they put some kind of a lye in with the lard, and then they stirred it. And I got some of the soap too yet.
Wow.
That I made. Everything had to be treated for smut.
So wheat seeds they would put into
Seed,
this?
seed wheat, yeah. It's put in there, and then they, you know, they had a, you know, formaldehyde they call it. You know, we used that to treat the wheat. I don't know if it helped or not, but that was the deal that day. They had to use that.
So you just soaked it in it, or?
That was, yeah.
Okay. So this is an oxen plow?
That's an oxen yoke.
A yoke?
They put that on the oxens, you know, on their shoulders, you know, to pull implements years ago.
This would have been something that your grandparents. Or
I'm sure my grandparents my parents never used it. And,
is this something you just found, or?
no, I bought that at a sale.
Okay.
I bought that years ago. Yeah, that's something.
That's a couple years old.
Yeah, that's at least, I'm sure it's at least 80 years or 100 years old or more.
Yeah.
Those were their irons. See, everything had to be heated. They were on the stove, you know, to heat them up. And then they had to iron the clothes. Yeah. That was this is a pick scraper to get the hair off the picks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then would you wanted to get the hair off to get to the skin, or?
Oh yeah, you had to take the hair off the, you know, the skin of the picks, you know, because that was the first thing you had to take out. You had to put them in hot water, you know, a barrel, and turn them in there until the skin, you could feel that the hair come off, and then you had to pull them out, and then you used one of them or a knife and scrape the hair off, clean nice and clean, and yeah.
What would you use the skin for?
That was used for head cheese, a lot of it, and the rest was, you know. This is a Indian hammer. The Indians used years ago.
Something again you just found?
Yeah,
that you bought?
yeah, you found them on the pasture prairie all over. Years ago, you can't find them no more, but you used to find a lot of that stuff, or arrowheads and stuff. You usually went out after a rainstorm or something like that. We used to go out and pick up arrowheads and stuff like that, but yeah. Well, that up there is a steamer light. That's from a train. That's a train light. You know, I used to have them top of the trains, you know, years ago, them old steam trains. That's a steamer light.
I see you have more irons down here too. That would have been used.
Yeah, and this is a cabbage cutter. That's how they used to cut the cabbage, you know, years ago. That's how they made the sauerkraut. No.
The sauerkraut.
And this is the washboard. That's how they washed their clothes before they had washing machines.
And do you remember your mother using that before?
Yeah, she used that. And had a wash top, and then the soap was laying up here. And then they had to scrub it, you know, till it was clean. And yeah.
That would have had to have taken her longer with that.
Yeah. Those are Model T lights. You had to light them. know, you had to light them and put kerosene in, and then you could drive on the roads or buggies.
So I suppose if you went too far, you had to stop and refill it.
Yeah, before you had, yeah. Well, no, they lasted quite a while, you know, at night. Depends how far they went, so you could take this off and fill it with gas.
Okay.
You fill it up, it looked, and then you could go again. I wonder how far ahead they saw, huh?
Yeah, how bright the light was. 'Cause it looks like it would still work if you put kerosene in there.
Oh yeah, they work good. Yeah.
Are those old batteries up there? Or what? On that top shelf.
Yeah, this is those are the coils they used in the old cars, you know. They had to have them in there before they ran. The coil.
What are all of these along here?
Those are rivet machines. Those are rivet machines. Years ago, that was a big deal. See, they had to have, when they, in the harness, you know, when some was broke, they put a rivet in here, and they put it down, and then it kind of locked out. I still use it once in a while. They're still handy.
Would you use it on a saddle or just anything?
Any leather,
Any leather?
just mostly leather, yeah. Yeah. And this is a sausage stuffer here. You know, you can make sausage.
So when you guys all got together to butcher, that's what you would need in to make the sausage?
I remember using them, yeah. I had to push it down.
Is that the only kind of sausage maker you remember using as a kid?
No, later on we had one that cranked, you know. We had different ones.
So
See,
this
then,
would be more like 1920s.
Yeah, even this one was a little newer here. See, you know, it was a crank type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember about when you would have gotten the crank one?
I would say in the 40s, when we got the gallon one, you know, where you could put more in. And the tools, I think I got all of them. I can't find one I haven't got more. I think I got most of the tools.
And these tools would have been used for?
Yeah, see, they were used for years ago on the plows and some old machinery. When nothing would fit now no more. No.
Is any of this from your father?
Some of it is still from my folks, yeah. That still was around the yard from the farm here. And most of it I bought at sales, you know. And now this is an egg beater or a cake beater. See, that's what your girl should have yet.
So we should have yet?
See, that's a beater. It should be oiled. So you could even set the speeds on it. Yeah. Instead of electric beater, see, that was a deal, huh?
I think we'll pass.
You wouldn't want that no more, huh?
No, not anymore.
Yeah. And that was one of the first radios that Crossley up there.
With the big speaker.
I can still remember that had one of the first radios here. You had to get it in with earphones. And then when he had it in there, then he could switch it over, then everybody could hear it. That was a big deal. That was in 1931, I think, or 32. I know it was a little kit when they
Do you remember listening to radio shows?
The what?
Do you remember listening to different radio shows?
No, I haven't seen one like that yet.
Did you ever listen? Do you remember what shows you would listen to?
Oh, no, I can't remember no more. That was no shows. I think it was just some kind of a squeaky deals. You know, they thought that was a big deal. I don't know what it was they had. No. And those are those little heating stoves they used to heat the houses. And
Would you have had one like this in your house, or did you guys have something different?
No, I never used to. I use it in here once in a while. I got it hooked up, and yeah, when it's cold, but I don't use it.
When would a stove like this have been used?
Well,
Have been in the homes.
see, you could burn mostly wood. I think they burned in them. See, then they. No. Yeah, and those are all lanterns and kerosene lights and railroad lights and.
Ranging in time from, how far back do they go?
They go back to the 20s, 1920s, them kerosene lights there. Gas lights, they call them them days. And them lanterns, well, they still use them now. You can still buy them. Some of those lanterns.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
U.S. Senator race. When was that U.S. Senator race?
They're from North Dakota, but that was way back. ARE Nestus. No, they can't be. That was no Nestus. I don't know where they're from.
Okay.
I don't know where they're from, but yeah. Then back here, I got a brass bat, and this used to be the phonograph. 2 shorts and a long, and who rang. Yeah. Yeah, see this. It's a brass bat here yet from way back. I'm sure that was I think it was my parents' first bat.
This would have been?
So they, and it was painted white. They painted it, and then me and my wife, we worked all winter once to get the paint off. That was a job. See, this is they used to hang this up like this on a tree or any place. See, then they swung it to clean the wheat. That's how they clean their wheat, See, that was homemade. Look at all the holes they had to put in.
What is it made out of?
Leather. Slid out of leather.
And they would hand
Yeah,
the whole thing.
they swung it, and the wheat fell out, and it had to be a windy day, so the chaff wind blew away. But that's I never seen one of them, in sales.
Do you know what this dates back to? How old this is?
I would say, yeah, that was maybe 1915, or maybe even earlier in the 1800s, maybe 1905 or something like that, because that's when the pioneers used to clean their wheat with. Yeah, this is
obviously nothing you would have ever used.
I've
but
never,
you're old enough to
I've
remember.
never even seen one in a museum or in in the Heritage Center or something like that. Yes, that's something very rare.
Can you go ahead and explain the different washing machines?
Here's a wooden Maytag washer. But you had to use the hand power, And then there's the square one. And the other one is the cradle one. You have to do rocker washer. And this is a wooden corn sheller. Put the corn in here and turn it by hand.
This wheel here would have been the turning one?
Yeah, and this is it's the manpower, they call it. You can power anything with this. Put the belt on, and then you could use it for mostly anything. This is a dictaphone machine. I don't know if you ever seen one of them.
No, never.
So you're talking to them, and it records it on here. Years ago, an old time, instead of before they had the VCR or they had records. So you talked in here, and then it recorded your whatever you were saying.
And he could play it back.
Yeah. And I think you know what this is.
That's a nice little keg.
Yeah, that's a beer keg.
How is that beer keg?
Yeah, that's the beer came in like that.
So is this an old keg?
Well, no, this is not a wooden one. See, the older ones were wood. This is a newer type already.
Okay.
But
when
we
would
used
they
to
come out with the metal ones?
we used to have one of them every Sunday. Took them to a farm someplace and had a big deal. Yeah.
When you say we, who was we?
Well, a bunch of boys and girls, you know.
In your like 20s?
Yeah, when we were in the early 20s, you know. Yeah.
And are the kettles hanging from the ceiling? Are these items your mother would have used to cook with, or are these newer?
Oh yeah. So, yeah, those coffee cans used in threshing. They had to have a big coffee pot, you know. See, they used the bigger ones then, and yeah, that was a big.
And now this one says Senex on it. What would have
That
came
was
in this
used for
one?
cream when you separate it, you know, to put the cream in
Okay.
years ago.
And you have hand cutters there too, hanging on
Those
the wall?
they used them years ago before to cut the wheat, you know. Those are size. They call them size.
And so you would never have used them.
No, I never used them.
Grandparents
No,
used them?
I think the grandparents, you know, they used them to cut. They cut the wheat years ago, and then they had to come and gather it behind, and
Wow. Those are a good handful of years old as well.
It's mostly trunks in here, you know, old trunks I fix up. I buy and then I fix them up, and that's a barber chair here. It's mostly bigger stuff here that I.
Scales. This World War I soldier's uniform. Can you tell me again where you got it from?
Well, the uniform belonged to my dad, but the rest of the stuff I bought her separate, you know. But it's all original. The helmet, the gun, and everything is from 1917.
Was your father drafted, or did he volunteer to
No,
serve?
he was I don't know if it was drafted or volunteered or anyhow. Yeah.
Did he ever talk about the war?
Not much. They never talk about stuff like that. I don't know. They never. No.
You just found this later on? Or did he show it to you?
No, that was in the attic. I found it in the attic.
Okay.
You know. It's funny they didn't burn it. Usually everything was burned and thrown out. You know, they didn't save it, but it was saved. So.
What was the reaction with World War II with the German-Russian community, or with your family?
Well, the Second War wasn't the First World War. They were more against the German people, you know. But the Second World War, that was kind of different already. It wasn't too much, but.
Do you remember Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was in school when that happened. I remember the day. Pearl Harbor, not in school, but I knew I was still going to school. I think it was in the 8th grade. Pearl Harbor.
What did you think about it? What was your reaction?
Well, it was a surprise, you know, but in fact it really wasn't a surprise because everybody knew I think even the president must have known that the chaps were coming, but I don't know. Maybe he wanted war or get in there.
Did you have to worry about anybody close to you being drafted into World War II?
Well, my brother John was in there. He was in the Navy for I think 4 years. And then I had some other relations in there, but yeah.
Was there a big worry about World War II, or was it, did rationing affect you guys?
Not really. See, I was young there yet, and I was the Korean War. I was ready to go to. I was drafted. I mean, I'm not drafted, but I had my physical and everything done. I was ready to leave, and then it quit. It was over with.
Can you tell me about this tractor here?
Well, my dad bought that in 1941. You know, we bought that, I remember. I drove it home. I think he paid $1,200 for it, new, and then it pulled 2 bottom plow and a pecker I always had on it, behind it.
What exactly is a pecker? What does that do?
It packs the ground in the back of the plow. You know, when you plow it, it kind of levels it better, crushes up the chunks, you know. Yeah.
And you said there were lights on it. Were they powered by the tractor? Or
no, there was a generator on there and a starter. You know, it started, and the generator and lights, and I got to put them lights on again. I got them someplace, I think.
And how long did you use this tractor before you got another one?
Well, at least 4 or 5 years, I'd say. 4 years, I think, till we bought the W. Ellis then. Yeah.
And this just made farming a whole lot easier to buy more land with?
Well, yeah, you could do more work with a tractor than with the horses, so we usually.
Did you have a problem getting tires at all for it, since it was in the 40s that you bought it?
Oh yeah, you can still get tires.
Even with the rationing, it wasn't a problem?
No, not there yet. Not a new one. I mean, if you got a new tractor, you know, it was okay, but you had to sign up and list, you know, to get a tractor.
What do you mean you have to sign up and list?
You know, to get in line, you know, for the tractors that came in during the war, you know, you had to be on a list to see. Dad signed up for a bigger one, but that's the only one we could get at that time.
Okay. So they just weren't able to make enough, or was it because
Well, during the war, see, they didn't make too many tractors. They didn't make other stuff, you know. So they didn't.
How long of a wait was it?
Yeah, at least 2 years, I'd say. At least a year or two.
So you got this in 41, but you put your name on the list in 39?
Yeah, I think so. So you put the name on then.
Did you have to have so much money down to say you could buy it?
No, not really. Not really. Okay. Just as long as you were on the list, you knew you had the money, or you wouldn't have signed up.
Okay.
So yeah. See, during the war there everything was rationed. You know, you had to, when you bought tires or something, you had to have a stamp or a permit to get them.
Was there any worry in the German Russian community about speaking German during the war?
No, not really. No, there was nothing.
You guys kept speaking German without a worry?
Yeah, no.
What about in school?
Well, in school, we were supposed to talk English, but as soon as there was recess, everybody talked German. Teacher couldn't stop them. Yeah, that was true.
Was there a punishment if you got caught?
Not really a punishment, but she kind of, the teacher usually got after you to speak English, you know. But
Was that hard?
But that's hard for kids, you know, they don't understand English, you know, and always German at home, you know. So when we went out, that was all German. That was just...
Did you enjoy school?
Oh yeah, those were good years. No worries. Those were the years here. Yeah.
So you
The only thing is, we had to walk over a mile every morning and every evening, you know, to go to school.
Where did you go to school at?
It was about a little over a mile north from here.
Okay.
You know, we had to walk through pastures, all no roads and nothing, all every day. Crawl 3 fences, and the winter time was so cold when we used to have I'll carry our water in a bottle, you know, that froze in your pocket, you know, busted. Yeah, I remember those were, we seldom got hauled, you know. Well, there was no road, so we always had to drive, walk.
Did you have any mischievous kids in school?
Oh, yeah, that was the fun of it, you know.
Were you one of those kids?
I was one of them too, I admit it. Yeah, I can remember some of the stuff we used to do.
Can you share a couple examples of what you used to do?
Well, I know we had some of them, I don't think I got a school desk in here, they had them inkwells in there.
Oh, okay.
You know, them little holes. So we always stuffed the paper, the scrap paper in there, and somebody must have thrown a match in the lid. And all at once, smoke and the fire in there. Yeah, that was one of the deals. And I think one spring, I know we flushed out a gopher from the hole, you know, with water. So somebody took, I don't know who it was, and it wasn't me. Somebody took it into the school and started throwing her out in school, you know. The dead gopher. There was quite a few of them things, so I can still remember. It was, yeah, it was a...
What kind of punishments would
No, we
students
never...
get if they were caught?
We never had big punishments. No, we never had... Sometimes stayed after school for 5-10 minutes, but I'm sure the teacher wanted to go home too, so she didn't. There was not much punishment.
What classes did you like in grade school?
I usually liked history. History was my favorite. I usually read the book all the way through, then I put it under the desk. I was done with it. I liked history and geography. And
What class didn't you like?
well, that hygiene. I didn't care much for hygiene. And years ago they had that what the heck was that? They haven't got it no more now. It was like prehistoric history. I mean, from way back from Greece, ancient history. You know.
Okay.
I didn't care much for that.
Did you go on to high school?
No, I wanted to.
How come you couldn't?
Well, it was during the war. Seeing Dad was alone, I had to be home and help. You know, I had to stay. And I always wanted to be a doctor. I had my mind to be a doctor. But I couldn't go. All my friends got to go to high school, and I had to be home and take care of the cows and the... No.
When did you know you wanted to be a doctor?
I think at grade school already. I know, I don't know why, but I like to... Yeah, I'd maybe be Dr. Klein now. brain surgeon. Yeah.
Well, do you have other items in here you'd like to show us? You know, with all the radios, do you recall any fireside chats with FDR listening to
Oh
us
yeah,
during the 30s?
I remember them. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did everybody kind of help out with chores, or?
Oh yeah, everybody had to.
There wasn't.
There was no loafing around. If you were there, you had to, unless you hit yourself. So you were. We usually, see, Dad always gave us chores before he went to town, you know, when he went to town. So we always hit before till Dad left, and then we lost. He couldn't find us. Yeah.
Now, would those have been the kind of sleds you would have used as a kid? Or?
Oh yeah. Those were the. So you could steer them.
Would you go sledding down hills?
Downhill, yeah. We had some big hills back here. It was nice going down, but going up wasn't no fun. Yeah.
Now, are these stoves that could have been used in your house? Are these similar to what your mom
Well,
used,
see that's the stoves they used in the house kit, but big ones. This is just a little one, a sample.
Oh, okay.
You know, they used to have big kitchen ranges. They baked the bread and everything in them.
Oh, just by wood or coal to heat with? They weren't...
It's mostly wood or manure chips we picked up. That was another one of our chores in the evenings. Went out with gunny sacks and picked up the cow chips.
Huh.
See, when they were dry, they burned good. There's the sausage mixer. Put the sausage in here and mixed it.
That's a big batch.
Well, this is one of the first plows here. See that? That's how they used to break up when they came over here to break up the sod.
So again, you would have stood in the back of it.
Well, yeah, you had to. One guy had to guide it. Then they had the oxen on front, and they pulled it with. See that that broke up the sod.
How much work would that take? Physical work would that take?
That's not so hard. Easy, I suppose, if you hung. I never used one of them, but I know they had to guide them, you know. I'm sure it was pretty hard work, but that's what they used it. Yeah.
And this, you found this isn't one from your grandparents.
That's something you don't find no more or see no more. They're all rotted out.
Wow. So that's similar to the metal version we saw earlier.
Yeah, it's a little. Then those were newer, but these were the first ones that came out with the moldboard.
What car is this back here?
That's a '76 Chevy Caprice.
Okay.
You know, for
one of your later cars.
Yeah, it's a later car, but that's what they're looking for 2 doors now, for 2-door. Yeah, this is my station wagon. That's like new, you know. It's only got 47,000 miles on. That's.
Only has 47,000 miles on this.
Yeah, that's.
What year is this again?
This is '76.
Okay.
Torino. And there's a tractor I still use to haul stuff around and push snow. With everything on.
And what year is this again?
1950.
1950 Ford.
1950 Ford Custom 2-door.
$2,800 for it. Wow.
Last time I had it out in the parade was in Centennial 2000, I think I had it in New Zealand.
So this is the first car you actually bought yourself?
This is the one.
Would you remember the first car your dad bought?
Oh, the first car I got was a Model T.
Oh.
I had a Model T for a long time. And then I got a 35 Chevy. Then I got a 37 Ford. And then I bought this one. Yeah.
Wow. Now, we kind of started talking about the 30s earlier, but do you remember the dirty 30s?
Oh yeah. Yep, I remember it when it was so dusty, it was just dark, you know, dust, you know, and I couldn't see the sun. And then one year we had grasshoppers so bad. You know, when you looked at they were just flying all over. I mean, they were just, the end of the buildings, they were just full, crawling all over. I remember those days. But the dust storm, that was something, you know. You know, every day there was a dust and wind and couldn't see nothing.
How did your family deal with the 30s?
Well, I suppose they had to, it was like with everybody else. It was tough to get along, but it, I always had enough to eat. That's something I remember. I never was hungry. Oh.
Did your dad or your family ever partake in any New Deal programs?
Well, my dad used to work for the WPA.
Okay.
You know, with horses. They built a dam up north here in the middle of the winter. I don't know what they did. They didn't. I think it was just to keep the people busy, because what can they do with a pick and a hoe or with a shovel? But to keep the people going, I think they got, I think, what did that say, $28, I think, a month with the horses. But
did he only do that for one winter?
I think just that was the one winter I remember, that he used to get up early in the morning and drove up.
Did any of your older two brothers, either of your older two brothers, go work for any
No,
New
no. Well, my Johnny went to the CCCs. That's something like a government program too. That they build stuff, you know, not roads, but parks and stuff like that. He was down in Yuma, Arizona. You know, they were stationed there. It's almost like in the service, but I think they got, it was very little, $18 a month, I think, or 21. They had to send half of it home to the folks, to their, see, that was a law. They had to send home to their parents.
Was that because he was a certain age, or did everybody have to do that?
See, I think you could volunteer. That was volunteer mostly, you know. But that was a program to help the people, you know, help the people out, you know, to get them.
Did you guys have problems with crops, with crop failure during the 30s?
With crops?
With them failing?
Yeah, there was no crops there. The 36 and 37, there was nothing, I think. And there's the little hay we scratched together, we had to sometimes pick the thistles by hand. I remember that was around the fences, and that was very little hay and stuff. Well, nothing grew. It was just no rain.
Now, looking at your car here, what did young adults and teenagers do for fun?
Well, we loaded them up, and then we went out, and there was always a dance someplace. Sunday nights there were barn dances. We went to barn dances, and there was always something. So we always had enough drinks on the car, so we always were happy. Yeah, that used to be we seldom went to movies or something like that. That was too dull. No, we had an old guy at Hake, you know, that owned a bar, and we were always in there, so he always saved, you know, during the war, he saved stuff for us, you know. It was short too, like beer and stuff. You couldn't get it, cigarettes or something. He always saved some for us, even if we did. So we always, Sunday nights, we went out there and loaded a keg of beer in the trunk and went to a farm and had fun. Oh.
Always hanging out. What was it like going to town being a country kid? Did you ever notice anybody treating you different?
No, not around here. They were all, it was all the same. Well, if the country boys wouldn't have come to town, them city boys, there was nothing in there for them. No, yeah, we even walked to town. I remember one night we walked to town from way out here, 8 miles.
I was going to say, that's a few miles.
Yeah, it's 8 miles to town. and we walked. I remember that. Well, on the way home we had a ride, but to get in there we walked. About 5, 6 of us, you know.
When did you buy that first new combine?
I think in 48.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much would you have paid for that combine in 48?
What was it? 6,800, I think.
How much would a combine today cost?
Oh my, over 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
To give us city girls
Yeah.
a frame of reference.
Yeah. It's.
Wow. So, what do you think in your childhood was the most stressful experience that you had?
Gosh, I can't remember anything that would really. As none of my family died or got hurt, and none of the. No, there's really nothing that I can complain about. I think I had a good life.
That's a good
Yeah.
answer. That's a nice answer to have.
Yeah.
What do you think was the most adventurous thing you did as a child?
Adventure. Well, there was a lot of. I did a lot of hunting, you know, and a lot of. But nothing that's. Can't think nothing of it now that really would
No
come to
adventurous
my mind.
stories with the boys in your
Not
young
really.
adulthood?
No, not that I really know of. Not really.
Do you have a fond memory of your childhood when you look back? You know, what's the first memory you tend to go back to? Or one of your favorite stories from your childhood?
Gosh, I don't know what. Well, Christmas usually was a big deal in our house. You know, there was a Santa Claus always came. You know, and it was kind of interesting. But
What would Santa Claus bring?
usually a sack of candy and peanuts and apple in it. And when we always got a present, there was always a little check knife or something. You know, we always had something.
Did each child get a present, or would you get a family present?
No, each child got a little gift. You know.
Do you remember some of the little gifts you got?
Well, I know a check knife I got one year. That was a big deal. Boy, oh boy, I carried that all over. Yeah, that's one thing I got. And then I got, what else did I get? It was usually little toys, you know, that nowadays kids wouldn't even take. Some days it was something that was, yeah. Well, I wanna show you my record player yet.
Okay.
I worked on it and I got it going.
How old is this record player?
That must be from the 30s, I'd say. You know, this record player.
Would you guys sit around and listen to a record player a lot?
Oh, years ago when we were kids, yeah. Oh, yeah. We had one, and that was our pastime. As soon as the folks left, everybody ran for that.
The kids are more into it than the parents?
Yeah, yeah. And then they had them thick records that
Did you kids dance with the music too?
The what?
Would you kids dance?
Yeah, we had a lot of dances, you know. We still go to a lot of dances, you know. And,
Wasn't that how you met your,
That's how
your
I
second wife?
That's how I found her, yeah, through the polka parties.
How did you meet your first wife?
In a bar at Bismarck. Yeah. Yeah, I saw her. I met her. Yeah, we used to go to Bismarck a lot, you know. During the week for the weekends, you know. And they always had something going there.
You mentioned that nobody in your family got seriously hurt. Did you guys visit a doctor? Did you guys go? Did you have regular doctor visits?
No, we never. None of us kids ever had to go to a doctor. Nobody broke nothing, and I don't think we ever went to. Not that I remember. I went to a Braucher. I mean, what they called years ago. My folks took me to they call them Braucher in German. That's some kind of a witch doctor, I think, or whatever. An old woman. I had yellow fever, and they took me in there. And that was amazing. I can still remember. She took an ache. Then she made a cross with thread, you know, on the ache, you know. And then she put it in the coal. That ache burned away, and that thread was still sitting. I can still see it. Yeah, and she prayed over me, and I must have got well. I don't know if it helped or, or if, but I can still remember that old Mrs. Albersbach. She was a heavy little lady, and folks took me in there. It's the only doctor I remember going to.
Did you ever go to a dentist?
No, I never go to a dentist.
Did you guys have to brush
And I never brushed my teeth all my life, and I've never had a dentist problem. And some brush them after every meal and they always said, I think too much brushing is not good either. I think it takes your enamel off and your. No, well, no, I shouldn't say never. I was to a doctor for. I had a loose tooth, you know. He pulled it, but otherwise yeah.
What about bath time in the family? Did you take a bath every day?
No, Saturday night was a bad time. Then we had a big wash tub, and we all bathed in that same water.
Now, being the oldest of the second set of kids, did you get to take a bath first or last?
I usually was first, I think. I suppose the one that jumped in first, I don't know. But we had a 50-gallon barrel, you know, that we filled with water, and that got warm then. Then we jumped in that one. Then we had a 50-gallon barrel on top of the roof, you know, for showers, and then we had a can with holes in it, and then it came down, you know, but nobody wanted to fill it, so.
Did you get used very often?
But that was nice, you know. We could sit under there, at least get the dust off when you came home. But even that barrel was okay. You jumped in there and you went down, and that was nice. It was better than the wash tub.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to show us?
Well, we'll go over the other shed one, see if there's something in there
Okay.
I can show you yet.
Well, my first question is, why do you think it's important to share your life story?
Well, I think it should be recorded, you know, because, you know, in a few more years, even my kids don't know nothing about this, you know, and, you know, some of that old stuff. And I think some of the people would appreciate, you know, stuff like that if they, later on in years, when they think back, a lot of them, you know, use some of that stuff, of machinery and stuff I showed you. And I think if they see that, they can kind of reminisce on what they seen or how they used it. And I think it's not a bad idea. They should have done that years ago when the old people could explain it better and talk about this stuff. But
Thank you so much for your time. It's been great.